Hi, guys.
Hey guys, Mark here.
I'm Rachel.
And I'm Rachel's mom, Ruth.
That's my mom.
Oh yeah. So obviously, having Rachel's mom here, we're going to do our Cornerstone connection together.
Family
because how fun is
Cornerstone.
that? Hey guys, today's reading came out of Mark, and it was in chapter 6, verses 1 to 29. And so a couple of really awesome parts in here, from Jesus being rejected in his hometown, all the way down to we have this amazing picture of John the Baptist and how he died in such a grotesque and
Amazing is the word you wanted to use?
amazing way, a horrible way.
Horrible.
Yes.
Awful.
Yes.
Weird. Creepy. All the things.
Well, all the things, yes. Well, one of the things that really stood out to me in the passage was when Jesus was rejected in his hometown, and they immediately began to cite his family. They said, brother of James, and it's not, in my translation, it looks like Jose, but it's not Jose. Joseph, that's right. Joseph and Judas and Simon, and he has all these family members, right? And it is kind of like, for me, it kind of struck a chord because it feels like it's hardest sometimes to share Christ with your family.
Yeah,
Like,
I think that's definitely true because they're the ones who know you. They know the bad side of you. You know,
Yeah.
they see you when horrible things are happening. Even though Jesus obviously never sinned,
Mm-hmm.
you know, the people in that town. This wasn't his family rejecting him at that point. It was his neighbors, his people in his town that knew him. Were like, aren't you just one of those kids that are the carpenter's sons? Like, you probably are not that special.
Yeah, it's yeah, it reminded me of a story of, I remember one time when I was in my very young 20s, and I was a believer, and so I had reached out and invited my brother to come to church, and he had not been to church in like a lot of years, and so I remember I took him to, we called it the X Factor. It was a blatant trademark ripoff of the show. It was like a Gen X service, so everything was like candles and black tablecloth, and it was like a guitar only worship, and it was very hip and cool, and all
In
of
the
your
90s.
all of your parents will understand how cool that really is, right? It was if you were a Gen Xer, you were like, yes, but no. So
How did your brother feel about this?
well, it was interesting because he said he was like he said everybody was just off doing their own thing. That's what he was like. He was like, I didn't get anything from that because everybody just seemed to be at their own groups with their own cliques doing stuff, and but it was like, I remember like it was frustrating for me because I was like, really nothing about Jesus in there at all for really, but yet it was just, it was just one of the hardest things, I think, to reach out and to speak, kind of like what you were saying, to your family, because you can't hide from your family.
Right.
You know?
Right. Yeah, I think that's definitely true. I've always thought of this passage, the part that's interesting to me is when Jesus sent out the 12 on their missionary journey.
Yeah.
And I always thought, like, we don't know a ton about the disciples at this point. This is not the apostle level disciples yet, when Peter speaks and 3,000 come to know Christ. This is like the doubting Peter stage.
Right.
And the like, is it time to conquer the Romans, and is it they're still kind of figuring out what Christ has really come to do, and yet this is when Jesus sends them out and just says, just keep going to town. If they don't like you in this town, just keep going, go to another town, heal people, cast out demons. And I can imagine that if I had been one of the disciples at this point, I would have been really nervous about this because we've seen Jesus do these things, but not us.
Right.
And so I think that would have been pretty intimidating. And then as it happened, I think that would have been something that would have sparked the interest of wanting to spend the rest of your life in that mission field as well.
Yeah, I like the verse that says, and if any place will not receive you, and they will not listen to you, when you leave, shake off the dust that's on your feet as a testimony against them. And there's this sense of just, you move to the next town.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think, we have several growth groups that have launched, and even some brand new growth groups, and it can be difficult sometimes in ministry when you have that one bad experience, and it can be tempting, I think, to let that just kind of like shut you down in ministry. But clearly, like what Jesus even telling his first 12 apostles is, people will reject you. like some people will 100% reject you and shake off your feet and move to the next town and keep doing the work of God.
But I mean, on the same side, that there were people that rejected them, there were also people that took them in and provided for them. Because Jesus told them, don't pack a lot of things, don't pack your extra clothes, don't pack all your food. You will be provided for. So as many people as were saying, no, we don't want to listen to you, there were others that accepted, and brought them into their homes and took care of them while they were doing this mission.
That's awesome.
So.
Well, hey guys, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.